Boom 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 boom.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a really fascinating journey, kind of a shortcut, into the mind of Robert McKee.
A true master of storytelling.
Absolutely. We've pulled out some, I think, really profound insights from his work, focusing on, well, on character, structure, and how they create meaning in a story.
That essential triangle.
Exactly. So let's kind of dive right in. Our mission today is to explore this really intriguing relationship between, the story's skeleton, its structure, how characters develop within that, and then what does it all mean in the end? You might think a story is just, events happening one after another, but McKee argues it's so much more complex.
Yeah, and what's fascinating, I think, is how McKee emphasizes that structure isn't just a container for characters. It's not passive.
Right.
It actively shapes them, it reveals them. And this interaction, it isn't just for kicks. It's not just entertainment value. It's actually how true meaning gets forged in a narrative.
Okay.
We're hoping to make that whole process a lot clearer for you today.
Yeah. Give you some aha moments, maybe. So what does this all mean practically? McKee hits us pretty hard right from the start with this powerful idea. Character isn't just who someone is statically.
Not a snapshot.
No, exactly. It's about how they change, how they become someone different, especially, crucially, when the story pushes them to their absolute limits.
It's a pressure.
Right. And this transformation, he argues, is the very core of the story's main idea. It's truth.
Which raises a really important question, doesn't it? Where do we actually see a character's true self? McKee makes this vital distinction. There's characterization, the surface stuff, job, habits, how they look, talk.
The observable traits.
Exactly. But true character, the deep down stuff, that emerges not when things are easy. It comes out in those tough moments under immense pressure when hard choices have to be made.
Okay.
It's in those choices, those decisions, that their real essence shines through. And often it's very different from the mask they wear.
That makes a lot of sense when the heat is on. Let's think about The Verdict. Classic film.
Great example.
Frank Galvin, Paul Newman's character. Initially, his characterization is, kind of charming, but also washed up, right? An alcoholic lawyer, maybe past his prime.
Yeah, he presents that image, but his professional ethics are, let's be honest, pretty compromised at the start. He's almost ready to just take the easy money, sell out his client.
Right.
But then comes the structural event, taking on that huge, difficult malpractice case. And not just taking it, but really engaging with the injustice of it.
That's the turning point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That event forces him, it compels him to confront the reality beneath that crumbling facade. The structure itself is stripping away the superficial image.
So it's actively working on him.
It is. It's pushing him towards potential change, towards making these incredibly risky moral choices that start to reveal who he really is or who he could be.
Yeah.
It's structure as a mechanism for revelation.
Okay, so structure is like a series of tests. And sometimes these tests involve a kind of reality check.
That leads us perfectly into another really crucial McKee concept. The gap.
The gap, okay.
Yeah, the gap is that moment, that space between what a character expects to happen when they take an action.
Right, their intended outcome.
And what reality actually delivers back to them. And often it's something completely different, maybe even contradictory.
So it's that difference, that kind of chasm between hope and reality.
Precisely, that gap, that dissonance. It acts like a reality test. It forces the character to pause and go, wait a minute, the world doesn't work the way I thought it did.
And that must be jarring.
Oh, absolutely. When their expectations get shattered like that, they're forced to reassess everything. They have to reinterpret their world, question their assumptions, and then maybe take new actions, riskier actions they wouldn't have considered before.
Or they could retreat, I suppose.
They could. And that choice, adapt and grow from the gap, or deny it and stick to illusions, that choice is character revelation.
This is where it gets really interesting, I think. Let's take Chinatown. Detective Gitz. He starts out pretty cynical, right? He thinks he knows the score.
Definitely. He has his assumptions about Evelyn Mulwray, about the whole case. He figures it's just another standard, messy affair. Been there, done that.
Yeah, his expectation is low.
But then every step he takes, every clue he uncovers, it creates a gap. Reality keeps contradicting his expectations. The affair isn't simple. Evelyn isn't who she seems. The murder. It's all far darker, far more complex.
So each gap pulls him deeper.
Deeper and deeper into this moral labyrinth. And these accumulating gaps, they force him to confront these brutal, painful truths that shatter his cynicism. It inevitably changes him, stripping away that detached professional veneer.
Exposing something more human underneath.
Exactly. His vulnerability, even. He's forced to reevaluate everything he thought he knew about power, corruption, even justice.
It's like the structure keeps pulling the rug out from under him. And you mentioned earlier, often the true self contradicts the outer persona.
Yes, a fundamental point. Think about Blanche Dubois in A Streetcar Named Desire.
Oh, yeah.
Her characterization is all fragile Southern belle, delicate, aristocratic, clinging to illusions of gentility. That's the mask.
The performance.
But the structure of the play is Stanley's relentless pressure, the harsh reality of that cramped apartment, the revelations about her past. It systematically peels back that veneer.
In what's underneath.
Underneath is this incredibly strong, almost steel-like will. But it's a will dedicated entirely to escaping reality, to maintaining her fantasy world at any cost, even self-destruction. The gaps she faces expose both her fragility and that desperate, powerful drive.
Wow. So structure is this relentless pressure cooker, forcing the truth out, good or bad, through these gap moments.
You got it. It's how the story argues its case, through character under pressure.
Okay, so we've got structure, revealing and transforming character through pressure, through these gaps. How does all this difficult stuff, this journey, connect to the story's overall meaning? What's the big takeaway?
Right. This is where McKee brings in the concept of the controlling idea.
Controlling idea. Okay.
He argues that every finished story, especially when it hits its climax, essentially makes an argument. It presents a clear main idea, a thesis about life.
Like the story's core message.
Exactly. It's the writer saying, this is how life works, or this is a truth about the world. But crucially, and this is key, this idea isn't just stated. It doesn't float in the abstract.
Comes out of the action.
It emerges directly from the character's struggle, their choices, their transformation or lack thereof, all shaped by the structure. The story proves its controlling idea through what happens to the characters.
I see. So it becomes concrete, demonstrated.
Precisely. But, and this is a really important but, for that controlling idea to really land, to feel earned and convincing,
Yes.
there needs to be a constant conflict throughout the story, a dynamic argument, a dialectic between that main controlling idea and its direct opposite, the counter idea.
A dialectic, so like a debate playing out in the story.
Kind of, yeah. It's not just good versus evil in a simple sense, though it can be. It's broader. Think of it like this. The story needs to present the strongest possible case for the opposite of its controlling idea.
Make the opposition convincing.
Extremely convincing. The more intelligent, the more appealing, the more powerful you make that opposing force, whether it's cynicism, nihilism, corruption, whatever contradicts the main idea, the more difficult and therefore more valuable and meaningful the ultimate triumph of the main idea feels.
Ah, okay. If the bad guy or the opposing philosophy is weak, the victory feels cheap.
Exactly. The credibility, the sheer force of that counter idea is what gives the controlling idea its weight, its power. You have to genuinely challenge your own theme.
So the deeper the conflict, the more profound the meaning.
That's the essence of it. The struggle gives the truth its value.
Okay, this raises another maybe darker question. What happens when a character fights tooth and nail, but doesn't get what they wanted? Or even worse, they get it, but it destroys them. You mentioned McKee talks about irony here.
Yes, absolutely. He calls these negative irony endings, and they can be incredibly powerful, often sticking with you long after.
Negative irony.
It's where a character desires something so intensely, so obsessively, that they'll cross any line, moral, ethical, personal, to get it.
Okay.
And maybe they do succeed. They achieve that goal. They get the money, the power, the revenge, whatever it was.
Right.
But in a deeply tragic, ironic twist, that very success becomes the engine of their downfall. Their victory contains the seeds of their own destruction.
Oof, that's genuinely painful to watch.
Yeah.
Because it goes against our basic hope that achieving goals brings happiness.
It does. Think about Gordon Gekko in Wall Street. His controlling idea, his mantra is greed is good.
Right.
And he pursues wealth and power relentlessly, breaking laws, manipulating people, and he becomes phenomenally successful, rich, powerful.
He wins by his own definition.
He does. But that very success, driven by that greed is good philosophy, leads directly to his legal downfall, ruins his protege, leaves him morally bankrupt. His success is his tragedy.
Or, wow, the War of the Roses. That's an extreme example.
Horrifying, isn't it? They both set out to utterly destroy each other in the divorce, to win the house and possessions,
And they succeed.
They succeed spectacularly in ruining each other. But in achieving that goal, they annihilate everything, the house, their relationship, their lives, literally. Mutual destruction as the ultimate ironic victory.
Yeah, that one definitely sticks with you. It's a chilling warning.
And these kinds of ironic endings, they add huge complexity, right? They offer a really thought-provoking, sometimes bitter truth. Success achieved at any cost often isn't success at all.
Be careful what you wish for.
Exactly. It might just destroy you. These endings deliver very realistic, if sometimes uncomfortable, insights into consequences and the nature of desire. It takes courage for a writer to go there, but the impact can be immense.
Wow. Okay, that was a fantastic deep dive. So if we try to kind of wrap this up, from McKee's viewpoint, structure isn't just a timeline.
Not at all.
It's this active, dynamic force. It shapes character. It reveals their true core under pressure, especially in those gap moments. And through that whole difficult journey, it brings the story's soul, its controlling idea, its argument about life into sharp focus.
Beautifully put. That intricate dance between the character's will, the structure's pressure, and the reality revealed in the gaps, that's what makes a story truly resonate, makes it unforgettable.
It's where the meaning is forged.
Precisely. It turns story from just entertainment into, well, a way of exploring truth. And maybe this brings up something for you listening right now. McKee argues pretty strongly that a writer's first duty is to tell the truth. Their truth about life as they see it.
Okay.
So as you watch movies now or read books, maybe think about that. How do the structures you see, the character journeys, how do they align or maybe clash with your own understanding of life, of truth? What is the story really arguing through its controlling idea and its outcome?
That's a really interesting challenge.
Yeah.
A great lens to use. It makes you realize stories aren't just escapism, are they?
Yeah.
They're tools for thinking about life itself.
Powerful tools.
Definitely something to mull over. Thanks for that. And thanks to all of you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
Boom, 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 boom.